Awesome. What I usually like to do, since y'all are high schoolers, is wait about 5 minutes and then I get started because I know y'all are, high schoolers and teenagers and tend to run late. So I'm going to hang out here for a couple of minutes. If y'all have any burning questions that you need to ask before we get started, you can go ahead and type them out. Go ahead and don't be afraid to ask because um, I would say probably 70% of my students this semester, oh, there's a baby. 70% of my students this semester are new to Georgia Virtual School. So I am sure if you have a question, someone else has the same question. Here's a baby. See you? Do you see you? You got enough, Daddy. I'm on microphone, Caitlin. Go upstairs. Stop.
Hello.
Hi, Tara.
Hi, baby.
Okay. As I said, we're going to hang out about 2 more minutes. I see there's still people coming in and out. I sent the link out late. I didn't even think to send the link out until somebody asked me for it. So we'll give that just a second. All right, I think that is enough time, and that seemed to be helpful. We had a few more rolling in late, so that's awesome. I do appreciate those of you that come, and I will say this each and every time, and you can quote me on that. This is Ronan. He'll be leaving in a minute. I most definitely prefer talking to people when they're actually in my room rather than talking to a camera and recording if no one shows up. So Welcome to American Literature AB and A. I'm teaching both. I have the third and fourth section of one of the other. I can't remember, whatever. We have experienced record numbers this year with Georgia Virtual School. I usually don't even teach during the school year. I teach face-to-face, Gainesville, go Red Elephants. I teach face-to-face, and I have 4 children. So I usually don't teach during the school year. I usually only teach during the summer because that's when I have time. But I knew that there were going to be so many extra students this year that I went ahead and signed back on. So I'm teaching during the school year this year. And as soon as I told my administrator that that's what I wanted to do, she slammed me with students. So I have been trying my hardest to get in touch with all of you. Like I said, I do teach face-to-face, so my daytime hours are pretty much occupied by getting face-to-face set up. Gainesville just recently went remote, so we have a bunch of students that are going virtual completely for the entire semester, and we have a bunch of students that are going to eventually come back to us face-to-face, but we're starting out online for the first few weeks at least, and hopefully not longer. I want to see my kids. So that's what's going on. I do apologize for those of you that I have not been able to reach out to in person. I prefer to communicate via text because then you can reply on your own time. I hate getting phone calls that I'm not expecting and they make me nervous, just anxiety, whatever. So I prefer to communicate via text message. So, and that's what I definitely would recommend for y'all as well in order to get in touch with me is to text me because I teach face to face. And because I have children, I leave my ringer on during the day. Okay, so if my daycare calls, if my son's school calls, then I can answer that quickly, even if I'm in the middle of a class and my students know that my children come first and then my students come second. So that being said, please only text during the school day because I leave my ringer on for the safety of my children. And that way, if I'm in the middle of a class and you need something, I can text you back as soon as my class is over and my ringer won't go off in the middle of class and scare me, my students. They also like to laugh at me because my ringer has something to do with narwhals. Anyways, so I am going to go off camera. Let's turn this off for the sake of Wi-Fi, and we're going to switch to the presentation. And we're going to go over a bunch of things. Pay close attention, especially for those of you that are new. Also, for those of you that are veterans and were not students over the summer, you're going to want to pay close attention because we have switched our learning management system. We are not using Brightspace anymore. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. We are now using Canvas. Canvas has proven to be a much easier system. We really enjoyed using it over the summer. I did teach over the summer and was one of the guinea pigs that got to try it out over the summer. If you were here over the summer, I don't recognize any of your names, but if you were here over the summer with us and you were in our first round of Canvas students, go ahead and drop a message there in the chat. You deserve a special round of applause because you were one of our guinea pig rounds. Awesome, Brock. That's fantastic. You were definitely one of the guinea pigs because we learned a lot this summer with using Canvas. We went through a couple of things. It's one of the few times I've actually cried from this job because I had to do the schedules 3 times. 3 times. And that was just so frustrating. So, but we figured it out. I say that, and then I also have to preface and say that our calendars got messed up again today, and we have to fix them. But apparently it's a very easy fix, and I just got the email about 5 minutes ago about how to fix it. So those of you that cannot see your calendar yet, that's what's going on. Nobody can. And I will have them fixed as soon as possible. I think I have to wait till tomorrow. I'm not sure, but there is an issue with the calendar and you should be able to see them tomorrow, and it might affect your start date. It may not, but don't worry about it. We understand this is a widespread issue. We'll make it work. But as far as I can tell, it's not as bad as the issues we dealt with over the summer. Just growing pains, learning to use a new system. You can hear my Ronin in the background. So this is American Literature A and AB. This is a little bit about myself for those of you that haven't gotten into the course yet to read that biography on me. I have been with Georgia Virtual School for 5 years. I always know because I was pregnant with my son when I got started, and he just turned 5 this year. So that's always my, it's probably about closer to 5.5 years now because I do believe I started in January. So, and I think I've counted, I'm not sure, I think I counted 15 semesters between the school year and during the summer. The summer counts as its own semester. So I've been here a while. For American literature, I have taught this course A, B, all of them. Probably, I want to say 13 to 14 times before and after it got rewritten. It was rewritten about 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember anymore. And I taught before and after that. So the reason why I kind of humble brag about that is because I want you to know that I know this course. And I want you to know that you can ask any question about the assignments, especially. And I will be happy to help you. Even if I'm not in front of my computer, I will probably be able to help you. So don't hesitate to ask. One of the things that I don't know as well, but that's kind of everybody's boat right now, is Canvas. But I am ahead of a lot of the teachers because I taught over the summer. And Brock here is ahead of a lot of the students because he was with us over the summer. So that's awesome. I have my bachelor's in literature. I have been teaching in one way, shape, or form for 10 years. I just did actually, I think I'm going into my 10th year. I think that's how it works. I just did my second recertification, and teachers have to recert every 5 years. So that would make mathematical sense. Caveman, please go upstairs. Sorry, my 8-year-old asking me for the car keys. I don't have them. So I live in North Georgia. As I mentioned before, I teach in Gainesville. And if you are a Gainesville High School student, I want you to drop a message because you are now my favorite person. I sent that out in my email earlier, and I did not mean to make it sound like I was dissing anybody. But Gainesville has never been involved with Georgia Virtual School before. So you're going to have to pardon my excitement with actually having students from my own district on my roster. When I saw that, I just about jumped up and cut a rug. I just did a little jig. I was so happy. So excited. So anyone who is a Gainesville student, you are on my favorite persons list. I love all my students equally, but my Gainesville students are going to have to be my favorite because I'm just so excited that they're here. This is the first time I've had Gainesville students on my roster, and there's 10 of them this year. Very exciting. We have 4 kiddos, as I've mentioned before. We have 3 boys and a girl. I have an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, both boys, and then my girl is going to be 3 in just a few weeks. And the little one that you hear fussing right now is 8 months old. Yeah, I'm not going to read all the rest of that to you. You can go read my bio on the teacher information page if you want to. This is my information for contact. That's my email address there at the top. Please do email me from your Georgia Virtual School email address. Just one second, hold on. No, I turned my mic off. I needed to pass the baby off to the other adults in the house. Okay, so I do prefer you to email me from your Georgia Virtual School email address. You have one. We made it for you. I prefer that you use that because I'm really only supposed to communicate with your Gainesville. I'm going to say Gainesville over and over, Danny. I apologize. It's because they both start with a G. I mean Georgia. You know that. I know that. I prefer you to communicate with me through your Georgia Virtual School email address for 2 reasons. That's what I'm supposed to do. But also it comes with your name attached to it. And I've noticed that students tend to get very informal when it comes to communication, and often forget to tell me who they are. So keep that in mind when you text me, when you call me, when you email me. You need to tell me who you are so I can help answer your question. Um, I don't know what that's about. Um, Especially with texting, if you text me from your personal number, you need to identify who you are. Don't waste your time waiting for me to ask who you are before I answer your question. Feel free to text me from your personal number. There's two reasons for that. That number right there goes straight to my phone. It is my fastest method of communication. If I'm walking down the hallway with my students in my face-to-face school in my Gainesville school, Gainesville Middle, um, I can reply to text messages if they're eating lunch. If I'm on planning, I can reply to a quick text message. I won't take calls during the day almost ever unless it's an emergency because I'm working. I am contracted. But I can reply to text messages really quickly. The other reason is that I don't mind students messaging from their personal number is because can go into this is a Google Voice number. What that means is I can actually go into Google Voice on my computer and copy and paste entire conversations. So what that means for you is you do need to keep it appropriate, not send me anything inappropriate. You need to keep it related to school because I do have a record of it that I can keep. I can put into your communication log. I can send to your mother, your grandmother, your aunt if I feel that's necessary for if what you have sent me is something inappropriate. So um, keep it business and please don't text me late at night, please. I had a student a couple years ago that I had to ask him not to text me at 11 p.m. because that's just, not good practice. No, daddy's upstairs. Okay. Hours of availability. As I've said, I work face to face. So these are my best available hours. These are the only hours that I will hold my office hours. I will be holding them on Mondays, 5:30, pretty much every week, unless there's something that comes up and I need to reschedule. I will answer text messages, sometimes emails, pretty much all throughout the day when I have a free second. But calls I prefer to keep from between 4 and 7 p.m. just so that I don't have a conflict of contract. I have kids, so I leave my ringer on at school, so try not to call me when I'm at school, please. When you click on the syllabus page of the home course, you can find the information about the course itself, about what coverage the course has, about specific standards, about books that you're going to need for this course. So let me just go ahead and tell you. If I remember correctly, every single book that you're going to be required to read is provided for you as a digital version. The only one that I can never remember if it's digital or not is The Great Gatsby. So if you go ahead and if you have access to your course, you can go ahead and check that. It's in the modernism unit to see if it's provided digitally or not. However, many students do prefer to have the book as a book copy, like a paper copy. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what books are going to be required for your reading depending on whether you're A or AB. And then if you want to go ahead and get those books or you want to put it on your Kindle or you want to get it on your iPad or whatever, you can. The very first major text that you will be reading is called The Crucible. Okay. The Crucible is the first one. It is a play. That one I know for sure is provided digitally. You may just want to read it off the PDF that's provided. That's fine. The second one is Huckleberry Finn, obviously by Mark Twain. That is the first full novel. Make sure you get that one started early. There are some parts of it that can be a little bit difficult to read because it is very much written in the Southern vernacular. It is very much uses Southern dialect. And it's not short, but it's not crazy long either. So, but just make sure that you start it when your course tells you to start, and you may even want to start reading it a little early. The last one is The Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby is only going to be required for those that are in the AB course. If you're in the A, you have The Crucible and the Huckleberry Finn. AB is all of these. The Great Gatsby, that's the one I can never remember if it's digital or not. I know I brag about how many times I've taught this course, but I can never remember if Gatsby is digital or not. I'm pretty sure it's available digitally.
And the thing is, with both three of these novels, because they are hugely popular and they've been around forever, you can probably find a PDF version, even if it's not attached to the course, just by running a Google. After that, there is in the AB unit only, the A students will not see this. In the AB unit only, there is a unit called the Contemporary Prose unit. That one is a whole list of novels, and you have to choose one off the list. Therefore, I can't really tell you all of the books that are on that list. It's books like The Color Purple, The Glass Castle, Fahrenheit 451, Catcher in the Rye, just classic American novels like that are on that list. And you pick one from that list and then you read it and you do a project on it. And a couple of other smaller, shorter writing assignments. Very small, like 2 pages tops. And it's mostly your opinion. But that's only for the AB course. If you want to go ahead and go look ahead at that unit and choose your book, you can. The module will be available. You can access all of the modules. But again, that is only in the AB unit. Grant, I'm going to go ahead and answer your question real quick. You are absolutely permitted to work ahead in the class. You cannot catch up, if that makes sense. And here's what I mean by that. You can work ahead as much as you want. So especially those of you in the A course, it's only half a year and you have from now until December to do it, which is tons and tons of time. So if you're planning a vacation in the middle of October when we're not actually planned on have a vacation, you need to work ahead. You cannot catch up later, especially for a non-emergency reason. We'll go over that in a minute, but that's basically the gist of your question, and I'll come back to it. I'll circle back around to that in a second. The calendar feature of your course is an integral part of ensuring that your assignments are turned in on time. You be sure to review your calendar regularly in your course. You can even install this student application for Canvas on your smartphone and receive notifications when your assignments are due. So I say that, and then I have to go back and add a footnote to that our calendars were not working correctly today, and I have to go back and I have to fix them. It's apparently a very quick fix. There was just a quick 3-step process. So big deal. So the calendars are not working correctly, but they're supposed to be working correctly by tomorrow. The app for Canvas is actually awesome. Okay. I would highly recommend that you download it and use it because it will send you notifications for calendar notifications. It will send you notifications when I grade stuff. It will send you notifications, I think, when I make comments on stuff. Don't quote me on that one because it didn't work for me, but that's because I'm a teacher. I have a different type of account. So having the Canvas app is really helpful. And there are even some assignments like discussion posts, for example, or tests or even quizzes that you can even do on your phone. Please don't write an essay on your phone. It has to be formatted properly. And yes, it has to be an MLA, and that's really hard to do on your phone. Just saying. What you need to do each day and the assignments you need to do to turn in are detailed in your course calendar. Let me pull that back. That's true, but it's not 100% true. I didn't write this. The course content that precedes the assignments when you access the modules on your course should be carefully reviewed before turning in any assignments. So let me tell you this. The only things that are going to show up on your calendar are things that you actually have to turn in. The things that are not going to show up on the actual calendar are the things that you need to read before that point, such as the module units, the module pages, this particular poem, this particular text, watch this particular video. That will not be on your course calendar. So what students do is they start at the very beginning. They start at the getting started module. They complete that. They do the acknowledgement quiz. They get started in the next module. They begin reading the content. In the content, it very clearly comes to a point where the assignment is then due. Not only that, on your modules list, you can then see where the assignment is placed. So you can see which pages of the content you need to read before you get to that assignment. Page 1, page 2, page 3. Oh, there's a discussion. I need to go do that. Page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7. Oh, wait, there's a unit test. I need to go do that. Okay, so that's going to put that on in line in your modules. So what you need to do to be able to plan yourself accordingly, look at your calendar, figure out what assignments you have to do, when you have to do them by, and then go look at the modules list and determine how much work is coming before that. Okay, I tried to balance out the assignments so that you would in one due date. Someone's got a mic on and it's making funny sounds. If you can mute your mic, that would be very helpful. I tried to balance it out so I could maybe have a discussion and an essay on one. Not more than one project. I tried as much as I can. There may be a week or two that's a little heavy, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I did the best I can. Those of you, especially in the A course, you may only have 1 or 2 assignments per. I set it up originally for due dates to be on Wednesday, but Canvas likes to mess things around. So if you started today, that you might have Wednesday due dates, but with the calendar issue, it might now be Thursday due dates. So just be sure to make sure that you're checking in on your calendar frequently. Those of you that have, those of you that are in the AB course are going to have more on a weekly basis. And those of you that have a later start date than today, Canvas automatically adjusts your calendar so that it'll squish the assignments a little bit closer together, and then a little bit closer together, and a little bit closer together, depending on what your start date is. That being said, I'm going to have to monitor them because I want to make sure that they don't just throw everything on the last few days of school, which is what the Canvas tried to do over the summer. So I'll keep an eye on that. Cameron, are you referring to the announcement? Yeah, no, those are just for your reading pleasure. They're not an actual assignment. Grant, are you referring to you having a later start date? So I had a whole bunch of students that started today. What is your start date? Oh, okay. So that will probably mean that your start date's going to be tomorrow, and Canvas will shift that for you on its own. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. So I have students that aren't even starting until September 8th when their actual face-to-face district gets started. A lot of students are doing that. I think it's better for you to go ahead and start as early as possible so that you can get as much time in between due dates as possible. But that's just my opinion. So when you actually take the orientation quiz and it pops you into the course, that's when Canvas is going to adjust your start date. And like I said, I'm going to go and then I'm going to check periodically. And I think it would be wise for you to do this as well. Go check your calendar when you get started, especially if you don't start till September 8th. Make sure it didn't squish everything up until that last week. We think that we figured out a way to fix that, and we set up our PACE plans in a particular way to fix that, but do yourself a favor and double check that. I'm going to try to spot check that, but I would suggest you check it too. Okay, so here's our late work policy that some of you are all asking about. Check your course calendar to know when assignments are due. That means that they're due on the day that it says it's due. So if it says that there's 3 assignments due on Thursday, okay, we tried to set up our PACE plans with flexibility because we know that that's part of the reason why people come to us. Is that we have some flexibility in that calendar. So we tried to put at least 3 days in between each due date. I set them up to be 5, but again, as your start date is closer and closer, if you're the later and later your start date is, there may be less than 5 days in between assignments, in between due dates. So you may have 3 assignments due on next Thursday, okay? That doesn't mean that you should wait until that day to turn them all in. That means that you need to be working throughout that week to get them turned in. You can turn them all in tomorrow if you want to. I don't care. That just means that they have to be in by that Thursday at midnight. Any assignment not submitted on its due date will automatically be assigned 0. In the fall and in the spring, late assignments will automatically incur a 10% grade reduction for each day. This includes Saturdays and Sundays, and that's part of why it was reduced to 10%. It used to be 20%, but we included Saturday and Sunday into that and then reduced it to 10%. So that was a nice happy medium. You have 10 calendar days to turn in an assignment for a late grade. So let's say it was due Thursday. You didn't turn it until Friday. The maximum score you could get for that is a 90. Okay. And that allows a lot of flexibility for you as well. Um, if you're just, you know, bumming around, you're playing Fortnite instead of doing your work, then you can turn stuff in late. It wouldn't be recommended, but there's that. So for example, if you have an essay due on Tuesday, September 15th, you turn the essay in, however, on Saturday, September 19th, that would incur a 40% reduction from the grade earned on the essay. The essay is 4 days late, and thus it is 40% down. Let me read Cameron's question. The only thing that is quote unquote due today is the acknowledgement quiz. But if you don't get it done today, that one isn't going to be a big deal. It's not going to hit you that hard. And I don't even think it hits you at all. And there's something about the calendar. I think over the summer, the calendar wouldn't even populate until that was done. But I don't think that's the way it is during the semester. So yes. So it's not really due today. And with the issue with the calendar, the calendars didn't acknowledge that anybody was in the course today. So they basically said everyone's start date was tomorrow, but we're trying to get that fixed. So make sure you go in and you check your calendar tomorrow. Okay, so with vacation, you still have to follow the GABS calendar. If you want to take time off for a personal reason, a non-emergency reason, it is on you to plan for that and work ahead. It's easier to do during the fall. In the summer, it's almost impossible. But it's much easier to do in the fall, especially, of course, if you're in the A course. If your family goes on vacation or you go on a school trip that takes place while GABS is in session, you are still required to turn in assignments that fall on your GABS course syllabus and calendar. Vacations and school trips are not an excuse for late work. No exceptions will be granted for late work. You will still have the late work deduction. Obviously, we do understand that emergency situations occur. We do understand we're in the middle of a pandemic, and we do understand that you or your family members may get sick. You and your family members may have an emergency and related to something else. A couple of years ago, Hurricane Matthew shut down an entire county, Glenn County, and we then extended an extension to literally every single student in that county. So stuff happens. We understand that. So if something happens, your first order of business is to contact me and I will work things out with you one-on-one. Technical difficulties are not technically an excuse for late work. You must have access to a computer to complete your work. Have backup computers in mind just in case, such as the public library, neighbors' computers, friends' computers, for example, but don't put yourself at risk, obviously, pandemic, GABS courses can also be accessed on many mobile devices, especially now that we're on Canvas. In short, you are responsible for managing your time and for assuring that you have proper technology in place to complete your courses. Contact me immediately if you're experiencing technical difficulties. So I had a student last semester who had very unreliable internet, just based on where he lived, in the middle of a mountain somewhere. And it happened twice, and he felt so bad about it. But it happened twice that his internet shut down in the middle of a test, and he was able to prove it. He was able to prove it. So it wasn't like he was trying to lie to me. He was able to prove it. So that was a situation where I would have to go in and give him a second attempt on that test. So contact me. Let me know what's going on. The Student Success site provides resources to make your transition to online learning environment easier. You can find the Student Success site in two places in your course, from the Help icon in the left navigation menu and from the Classroom Resources page. In the Student Success site, you will find resources on navigating your course, turning in assignments, checking your grades, and Office 365. I will share my screen in a little bit and do a little navigation around the course to kind of share with you some of the most important parts. You have built into your course, you have Office 365 email. You can either use the inbox or your Office 365 email. They're not the same thing. They're not connected. The inbox of the four major methods of communication, I say I would respond the quickest to text messages and then Office 365 emails because both of those come through to my phone. Calls are probably number 3 because I can only respond to calls during certain hours. And I would say inbox is probably tied at number 3 because I can only see the inbox when I'm actually logged into Canvas. Okay, so text first, especially if it's a quick question. If it's a super elaborate question, send me an email on Office 365, which is your GAVS email address. As a GAVS student and having a GAVS email address, you are given access to Microsoft Office 365 Suite for free, which you can add to up to 5 computers and your mobile device. So this means that you have access to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, and Outlook. It also includes a terabyte of storage, and everything you need to know about it is in the Student Success site. There are several reasons that this is awesome. Okay. When you submit your assignments, almost never will the assignment Dropbox accept or display properly documents and formats that are common to Macs or Apple computers. Pages, for example, Pages is only an Apple computer formatting. It doesn't work with Canvas. It doesn't work on my personal computer because I have a PC. If I had a MacBook, I might be able to download that for you and open it. But not only is that more complicated, but I simply don't have a MacBook. I have a PC. So beyond the fact that Canvas just doesn't talk to Mac programs, I can't open even personally, even if I wanted to. So using Office 365 is a great way around that. You can just create your documents in there and that will automatically make them docx's and PDFs and PPTX and PowerPoint and all that for you to be able to upload directly. Secondly, what makes that awesome is that your work is now portable. Meaning if you use your OneDrive for your work, you can start your essay at home, go to your grandma's house for the weekend, and continue your essay on grandma's computer because it's not on the computer itself. Those of you that are not familiar with Office 365, it is almost the same thing. It's very similar to Google Drive. Okay, so it's basically a internet housed work suite with storage. Okay, and we provide that for you for free, and that is accessible through your Georgia Virtual School email address. I would highly recommend you use it because if you start writing a document on your computer and you forgot to save it and your power goes out and your computer shuts off and you accidentally lose half your document, you have to start it over. But if you start writing a document in Office 365 and your power goes out and your computer shuts off, it's saved it. So that's another benefit of using that. Per GAVS policy, I cannot accept any Google documents or external links to your assignments. Again, you cannot give me a Google link. 99 times out of 100 over the summer when somebody tried to submit a Google link, even though Canvas accepts them, I couldn't open them because the share settings were not set correctly. Okay, do not submit a Google link to your assignment. 99 times out of 100, I cannot open them. You must only submit the following types of documents: doc, docx, PPTX, PDF, MP3, MP4, XLSX. The MP3, MP4, those are important because there's at least 2 assignments, especially in the AB course, that are verbal, that require a spoken portion. Okay. One of the ways around that, if you don't have a way to do that, is YouTube. You can submit a YouTube link. That'll often work, but don't do Google Drive links because almost never are the sharing settings set correctly so that I can actually open them. I'm also not permitted to accept email assignments via email. So, don't go write your essay and then just put me in the share of that essay. I can't do that. It has to be submitted through Canvas, through the learning management system. If you're having trouble getting a document to load because it's really big, some of the projects require pictures and stuff like that, and it just gets to be really big, We've not had many issues with that with Canvas. We used to have it with our old LMS with Brightspace, but if that were to happen, there is usually a discussion board that has there's a discussion that's called something like large files or something like that, and you can submit it there. But if you're truly having issues getting a document to upload, don't just email it to me and expect me to grade it from there. You can contact me and I'll try to find a way to help you get it in. Again, don't put anything in that's Pages. Don't put anything that's a Google link or anything like that. I'm not allowed to use it and I won't use it. One of the first classes I'm going to have, which is probably going to be next Monday, is on plagiarism. I try to hit this early and I try to hit it hard because it happens every single year. I have students promise that they will not plagiarize, and every single year I have students that submit fully plagiarized assignments. I'm not going to read this word for word, but let me tell you this. There are very strong consequences to stealing work in Georgia Virtual School. Okay, let me detail that real quick. First, you will get, the first time you plagiarize, okay, you get a warning email to both you and your parent. Okay, nobody wants a dad lecture over stealing work. Second time it happens, that's when my administrator gets involved, and then she will actually contact your parents and your school and ask for disciplinary action. Third time it happens, you're gone. You're done. Sorry, sayonara. You just wasted all your time. Okay, so don't do it. I had some students last semester that stole entire essays, entire projects, and tried to submit them as their own work, and I caught them. And some of them did it twice, and their parents were embarrassed for them. It's just an embarrassing situation all around. So just don't bother. Do your own work. We'll discuss that more in depth next week. That's, like I said, that's the first class I try to hit, and I hit it hard because it's an issue I deal with every single semester, and it takes a lot of my time to deal with it. It takes a lot of your time to deal with it because you end up having to do stuff twice sometimes. If you have questions, you can go to the help page, which is on the bottom left of your GAVS bar, your toolbar. And there is the help desk, and you can also access the student success site. You can also reference your student handbook. And of course, there's always me, but do try to solve your problems first because then you won't have to wait for me to get back to you. Our preferred browser that works the absolute best is Mozilla Firefox. If you don't have Firefox, Chrome works pretty well. It works pretty well. I would say, again, like 99.5% out of 100. Chrome works well. Every once in a while, if there's a little like practice quiz or a video that doesn't seem to want to work in the course, try switching to Chrome try switching to Firefox, and that might just do it for you. Internet Explorer doesn't work for us. Safari doesn't work almost ever. Like, you'll have all kinds of issues getting those kind of interactive things to run. So I would suggest using Chrome or Firefox. Firefox, you're just going to have almost no problems. I already covered this. Communication, please use your GAVS email. You'll receive notification emails about your grade every Wednesday through our net response system, and every 2 weeks you'll receive a progress report. Things such as assignment submissions and correspondence to my feedback and grades, and all of that will go to your email. So make sure you check your email frequently. I would recommend adding it to your phone, adding Outlook to your phone so that you can get those emails directly to your phone. I'm not going to read over this. I will have a live learning session every single Monday at 5:30. Most of the time I will not need to reschedule, but 5:30 on Mondays will be the day. I will talk about things like plagiarism next week. I talk about essay writing. I try to keep it pretty general because I invite both the A and the AB students. But if you have specific questions about content, feel free to bring them up in those classes. I'd be happy to help you with the content itself. You can specific questions about a text or an author. That would be awesome. They're interactive. While I'm actually speaking, I prefer you to use the chat, but when the chat where actually my lesson is over, then you're totally welcome to bring in the microphone and ask a question. Your course grade. To be successful, you need to check your course grade daily. If I can't open a document, I'll mark it as a 0. And if you don't check that grade, you're not going to see that 0, and you're not going to notice that all you needed to do was change that pages that you forgot to upload as a PDF. That's all you would have needed to do to get a grade for it. Check the Guiding Starter module of your course in the Student Success site to see how you check your course grade. Your course grade is comprised of the following categories and percentages. Discussions are 10% of your grade. Coursework and quizzes are 45, tests and projects are 45, and the final exam is 20. Yes, that adds up to more than 100. That's because the final exam is actually separate. So the discussions, coursework, and test project, that'll all add up to 100 through the year, through the semester. But when the semester is over, we take 80% of that grade and add it to that final exam, which counts as 20%, smoosh it together in a magical way and make 100%. If you want me to explain it mathematically further, I can do that for you. But for right now, we're going to move forward. During the fall session, I will grade your assignments within 3 school days of submission, Monday through Friday. Zeros will be automatically entered by Canvas. I don't even have to do that anymore. Yay, yay, yay. Review the feedback I leave for quizzes, discussions, and assignments. Sometimes if you have a major misunderstanding with an assignment, I will allow you to redo it. But please do not redo assignments unless I say, please redo this assignment. You're not technically allowed to just redo an assignment, even if you did poorly. Okay, if you had issues with reading the instructions because you were rushing, I can usually tell, and then you are not permitted to redo assignments unless I can say you are. If I can tell you really misunderstood something, if I really want you to try to do better, I will say so. So check that frequently. Now I have to add a little bit of more information because this is an English language arts class, because this is a high school just like English language arts class. Obviously, the most important assignments are your essays. Okay? My job as an English language arts teacher is to help you become the best writer possible. Therefore, when it is essay season, like when it comes about that everybody's turning in the Crucible essay, or when it comes about that everybody's turning in the Great Gatsby essay, you may not get your discussions graded within 3 days because I'm working my tail to the bone getting those essays graded so that those rough drafts can be graded and you can go back in, use my comments, go back and write an awesome final draft. Okay, so if you notice that a particular discussion hasn't been graded, but you know that you just turned in your Huckleberry Finn essay for the rough draft, that's what's happening. Okay, and I try to be very clear about that. You may have some assignments that take more than 3 days to get graded because I'm working on those drafts. So in other classes where the grading goes a lot quicker, your teacher may get your work back to you within a day or 2. But because this is an English class and because my job is to help you become good writers, please be flexible with that 3 days. I'm going to take you into the course in just a minute. These are the Canvas help sessions. Some of you were having trouble finding the link. I had several people email me for the link for that yesterday. It is available in Canvas, and you don't even have to click on a course in order to get to that. But if you truly cannot find it, I would be happy to share it with you. I finally found it yesterday, and I was able to provide it. So if you have more issues with Canvas and you need some help with navigation, and I think they provide an opportunity for you to get extra credit in your course, go check out those Canvas help sessions. That link may not respond to you directly, but you might be able to open that. This is also in the email that I sent you, but that link was not in the email. I don't know why. It always has been in the past. So just remember that I'm here to help you be successful in the course. It's my job. It's what I do. It's what I enjoy doing. I really do pay attention to that the pass fail percentage at the end of the year. I take great pride in it. And so I really want you all to do well and to learn well and become excellent writers. That's my job. It's what I enjoy doing. So we're going to take a second. Okay, let me ask if you have any questions now, and then we're going to go head into the course, and I'm going to do a quick little tour. I don't want to hold you much longer. We're about to hit an hour, but go ahead and ask your questions. and then we will jump into the course for just a couple of minutes. Okay, Ben, I'm going to come back to your question. I'm going to go ahead and screen share, and when I hear that come up, I will come back and answer your question. Have you done your orientation? Okay, it takes about 24 hours once you finish your orientation for that to come through. I believe it's done manually, but they're really good about getting it done within 24 hours. So you may not be able to get it until tomorrow, but that's fine. Canvas will adjust your dates. It's not a big deal. It's only one day. Yeah, no problem. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go to the home page. Courses. I'm just going to look at A. A and AB are going to look exactly the same, of course, except for the modules list. So this is the home page of your course. These 6 little buttons right here are going to be the main place that you're going to find everything. Getting started, class announcements, modules, class resources, teacher information, live learning sessions. I'm pretty sure when I post an announcement, it sends you an email, so be sure to check that. If you have it on your phone when I post an announcement, it should send you a notification as well. Teacher information, this is just about me and how you can find my information. My little bio, my contact information, there's that number, that's that Google Voice number, hours of availability, and stuff like that. So let's go back to home. Okay, live learning sessions, those of you that made it here today figured this out. Here is the Jigsaw Learning Room. This is the schedule. I will put the schedule up for every Monday, what we're going to cover, and little notes about what that class is about. When that session is over, I will go back in and put that in as a YouTube video so that you can watch it. And I will often post it in the announcements too, but sometimes I forget because, mom brain. You can see I have a message over here in my inbox. I'm not going to check it right now because I don't want to violate privacy. But if you have a message from me, that's where it's going to appear. Okay. This is going to be your calendar over here on the bottom right. It's going to tell you what assignments you're going to have coming up in the next week. You can click on that calendar. I'm not going to click on it right now because mine looks different. And you can see when you have certain assignments. So you can look ahead and see when your first essay is going to be due or your 4th essay is going to be due. Yeah, it's 4 essays for the AB course. The A course is going to write 2. The AB course is going to write 4. Modules. This is where you're going to go. This is your main home. This is your place. Let me see. Let me put this in student view real quick. Student view. Okay, this is what yours looks like. That was what mine looked like. Okay, so modules is going to be your main home for getting everything done. This is where we want you to go to get started with everything. At the beginning, you can see your getting started module here, resources for the semester, all of that jazz. This is how the discussion and the course standards, so how we want you to do your discussions, all of that. And there's that first assignment, the first graded assignment, which is the introduce yourself discussion. The first unit is the Native American Voices and Encounters. If you have your pop-up blocker turned off and you click on this, it'll open up as its own pop-up, I think. If you don't have it turned off, it will open as a separate window. Not a big deal, but you'll get there. And then you can see that once you complete pages 1 through 4 of the content and read whatever texts are in there, whatever instruction, the first assignment you have here in this unit is the plagiarism discussion. And then you go back and you read a couple more pages, and then you have the My Oral Tradition assignment. And then you go back and you read another page, and then you have a quick discussion. Then you go back and you read a few more pages with a few more texts that are attached to that. Oh, and there's the Native Americans model test. So you can actually click on that, and bam, it opens the test for you. Obviously, you're going to want to study before you hit begin, but there you go. Everything is literally connected in order on the modules list. That's why we want the modules list to be the end all be all of your experience with GAFS. Okay. So again, this is only the A course, so it only shows up through the Huckleberry Finn Realism and Naturalism unit, and all the way down to the instruction on the EOC. We will discuss the EOC a little bit more later. I do know that Governor Kemp has requested to the Federal Board of Education to have EOCs waived for this school year. We have not received word yet on if that's been approved or not. So we're going to talk about it later. We'll cross that bridge when it comes. Either we'll have the EOC or everybody will take the final exam. We don't know yet. So don't email me tomorrow asking, I won't know about it yet. Cool. This is where you check your grades. Okay. You can see what the grades were. And you should be able to also see, be able to click on that, and then you can see the explanation for that grade. Or if I just gave you a picture of a dancing lamb or whatever it is that I like to, sometimes if I'm grading a fairly easy assignment, I will, or a very quick assignment, the only feedback you'll get from me is a meme. Like if you did a great job in an assignment, you'll get a meme. And that's one of the ways that I streamline things and I try to spread happiness. If you take a test like this one here, the Puritan Legacies module test, or this one, the persuasive essay timed writing, and you see that little eyeball, that means that I have to look at it first. Most of our tests are auto-graded, but some of them I have to actually go in and grade one of the questions on the test, or the whole thing. I see. What is it? My 2-year-old just walked in. So this is how you can access. What? What's the matter? Did you hurt yourself? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, go upstairs. Go upstairs, okay? Go see Daddy. This is where you can access your Office 365 and all of the apps that come with that, and that's where you can access your email. You peek back at. You don't have access to teams and permission. I have no idea why that is. I'm sorry that happened, Cameron. I have no idea why you don't have access to the teacher information. That's weird. Yeah, if that continues to happen and there's information in there that you need, make sure you contact me and we'll try to figure that out. I don't know the answer to that question. All right, I wanted to try to get us done by 6:30, so we didn't go over an hour. We have 3 more minutes. Does anybody have any awesome, excellent questions? And as my principal said, questions for the good of the group. If you have personal questions about issues with your own account or your own grades, be sure to, and you can message me those separately. But if you have questions that you think others would benefit from, go ahead and drop them there in the chat. All right. Okay, I see a couple of you are trying to type in a message. What are some common mistakes people make? Okay, let me think. That's a great question. Try not to wait until the last day of a grading period to turn in your work. Don't wait till the last day and say, oh, it's only 2 assignments. As I showed you in the modules, there's going to be multiple pages of reading in between assignments. Just like if you had a textbook in front of you, you're going to read like 12 pages and then do an assignment and then read another 12 pages and do an assignment. Treat it like a textbook. Thank you for coming, Ben. Have a great dinner. That's something that students do a lot. Let's see. If you have trouble understanding an assignment and the questions, ask me first. Don't just try to figure it out. I had one student last semester in the summer that was really bad about that. He was really trying to do good work, bless his heart, but he didn't always understand how to do it and would turn in half-done assignments. Don't wait until the last minute. I can tell, y'all. I can tell. Don't plagiarize. Literally, like if you were to do all of your work, even if you struggle to understand, then I will help you as much as I possibly can, help you understand, and I will help you pass that course. Weekly sessions will look a lot like what we just did. I'll give you a presentation. You guys will comment and chat in the chat box. And I usually try to keep them shorter, but the welcome session is always the longest. So, okay, is it here yet? Is it here yet? Okay. No, it's not just questions. So what I try to do is I try to cover a particular important topic. For example, the first one is on plagiarism. I will also have a lesson on integrating quotes in an essay because students really struggle with doing that. So how to use quotes and using evidence in essays, because some writers are really good at it, but it's something that does take some time to get used to. I will have a class on the research paper itself. For those of you that are in the AB class, the research paper itself, what to do and how to go about that, and what are some of the common problems with that assignment. Those are the only ones that are coming to my head right now. And of course, at the end of the year, I'll have a wrap it up and I'll ask our finished end of the year questions and all that. So I don't usually do much about with content itself. I'll do a comma review one. I love doing that one. There's a lot of extra credit built into that. So those are some of the ones that are there. So I'm going to provide for you an extra credit opportunity for coming, and I appreciate it. So if you came to this class or you're watching the recording later, unfortunately, a couple of you left already. Whoops. This is what I want you to do. There are 3 things that I want you to do to be able to earn that extra credit. And I will throw 10 points on any assignment, and you have to be the one to tell me which assignment. I want you to answer these 3 questions. Obviously, you won't be able to do this till tomorrow. When is your Crucible essay due? So all of you will have a different answer for that because you have different start dates. When is your Crucible essay due? I'm asking that question because I want you to be able to use the calendar. Number 2, what is my preferred method of communication? That's question number 2. Number 3, you need to send me a message in the inbox of the course, answering those 2 questions and telling me which assignment you would like that added to. I want you to pick the assignment yourself because that means you checked your grade book. Okay? So those are the 3 most important things in this course: the grade book, the calendar, and communication with your teacher. So those 3 questions are what you need to answer. Send me a message in the course inbox. Okay? I don't care if you're starting September 8th, you're starting today, you're starting next week. Anytime you start and you watch this session or you watch the recording or you're here, you can answer those. Brock, I would wait until you actually have some assignments to actually add it to, but that's up to you. You're going to receive grades back every couple of days. And honestly, it doesn't quite matter whether you put it on a daily grade or a project or a test. It's going to affect your grade positively in any way. And there's going to be multiple opportunities to get credit. Not always, but often will provide you opportunities to get some extra learning credit in these sessions. And at the end of the year, I will usually offer you a test replacement opportunity. So yeah, so just use it as it comes. I wouldn't wait till the end of the semester, partially because you'll forget, and partially because it isn't going to make that much of a difference. Okay? So unless there's any final questions, drop those in the chat box. I'll hang out for a second. Thank you so much for coming. I prefer talking to people rather than an empty room, and I will say that every class, I guarantee it. If you have any other questions or anything else that you're still shaky on, you can ask me now, or you can send me a text or an email. I appreciate you for coming, and I hope you all have a great semester. If you don't have a question, feel free to leave. I will not be offended.